we are super excited today to have Debbie Seibers and Fadi here with us. We are talking about something that these two are super passionate about, and I love to talk about and I'm passionate about, and is so helpful for our brain health and pretty much for every aspect of our health. Debbie, I love your website because it really sort of plays out so many different benefits for exercise. And so I'm going to let you two introduce yourselves, kind of tell us a little bit more about your background, how you got to the point that you're at now, and then we'll go through some specific questions.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me, by the way. I'm Debbie Seibers, and I've been in the fitness industry now for 30 years. I can't even believe it as I say it. And I started as a personal trainer in Los Angeles. I was doing that for about 12 years. And then I had the incredible opportunity to meet Carl Deichler, and he was just starting Beachbody back in 1998. And he hired Tony Horton and myself to create their very first program. And with that success, I was afforded the opportunity to create Slim and Six. That was just a huge success. It ran for about 17 years through my infomercials. It was just a full body structured program that I would take people from a beginning level to an advanced level. So I think that's why it's had such longevity. But since moving to Denver about 7 years ago now, and now being 60 years old, I cannot work out the way that I used to. And so I became very passionate about creating programs, not only for the 50 plus consumer, but for people that had joint limitations or true beginners or overweight people, anybody that was looking for a kinder, easier way to exercise. So I was very fortunate to meet up with Fadi, and we have the same vision and the same passion to help people stay active as we age, especially. And so we formed our company, Lavati, which stands for Live Vitality Wellness. And I created 2 programs called Body Dynamics. And I offer just all kinds of different routines to help people that are looking for that kind of exercise. So that's kind of it in a nutshell there.
I love that. Thank you. And we will definitely get into some more of the details of your program later on, because I think people are going to want to know that and know how to become a part of that, or get your program and get started on it. So we will definitely get to that. Fadi, go ahead and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us. Name is Fadi Sayegh, and the big driver for me in fitness was the continuous need to stay fit and healthy. But I was in a major car accident when I was young. And so I used to do extreme fitness workouts. And I realized afterwards, as I started to get into my 30s and early 40s, that I needed gentler, kinder workouts that keep us healthy, but that do it in a way where we don't have aches and pains. And I wanted to find a solution that I can share with people that are in need of the similar solutions. And Debbie was the first one that came to mind. I knew Debbie also from Beachbody. I worked at Beachbody for a few years. And so I reached out to her, and here we are. We created this amazing company, and we have 2 great products now that people love and care about. And we have a community on Facebook that interacts with us all the time. And I'm just excited to be part of this journey with Debbie.
I love that. Thank you, Fadi. And yeah, as you both are talking about Beachbody, it brings back lots of memories of me doing exercises in my own living room. So appreciate that, all the work that you've done to this point. Okay, so let's kind of get into some of these questions that I had for you, and then we may bring up a couple other things too. So first of all, some people that we work with have always kind of focused on one specific type of exercise. Maybe they were an athlete, so they just always play their specific sport, or they just love to bulk up, and so they're lifting constantly. I certainly have a lot of patients in that category. Or some people just love to run, or whatever it is. They only do their one thing, yoga or whatever it is. And so I just wanted to ask you, why is it important to incorporate different types of exercise into what you do? Number one. And then number 2 is how is that best achieved when we're so busy? So I'll let you run with that.
Well, that's a great question. And, each exercise provides a specific benefit, right? So if we are talking about cardiovascular exercise, well, that's super important because we've got to build our strength in our lungs. We have to increase our energy. We have to get heart healthy, and we want to keep our weight at a minimum, right? So cardiovascular exercise, super important. However, equally as important is strength training and resistance training, because not only do we have to keep our muscles strong because we lose that muscle, especially as we age, but we have to keep our bones strong. We need joint stability. It's so important to not only prevent all kinds of injuries and issues, but we want to stay strong and we want to stay active. And then lastly, the flexibility piece. We want to have range of motion. We want to prevent all that stiffness and tightness and not wake up so incredibly achy in our joints. And so the proper restorative work is also important. Now, people might say, my goodness, that is so much to do. How am I going to fit all of that in?
Right.
Well, with our busy lives, you can work smarter, not harder. And it really is just carving out, even if you just have 20 minutes a day. I like to combine the low impact cardio with the resistance training moves, so you can do it that way if you want, and you can get your heart rate up while doing, let's say, for instance, a hamstring curl with biceps or a knee up with a shoulder press. There's ways to incorporate both. So you're getting your heart rate up, you're strengthening your muscles, you're strengthening your bones, and then you do a quick stretch at the end. Now, ideally, in a perfect world, I would want people to do cardiovascular exercise a minimum of 3 times a week. I prefer 5 times. Strength training a minimum of 3 times a week, hitting each muscle group evenly, and then the flexibility piece daily. So
I love, first of all, how you're combining different exercises and different types of exercises, different parts of the body, not only for being efficient and getting twice the benefit, but you also get the brain benefit. Interestingly, if you're trying to push yourself to do something that's not as easy and you're trying to focus on 2 different movements at the same time, you also get that cognitive benefit. So I love that idea. Now, if you, I'm sure people come and ask you this then, so how do you then take these ideals that we all know we should be doing and make it a habit every day? Where do we start is the question we get a lot. So I'm going to turn that over to you.
Yeah, I think that's a question that I get a lot, and I really think it comes down to setting an intention and making a commitment to yourself. And I also believe that you really have to set those short-term goals, and you really want to set up a plan, a success plan. So, as to make it a habit, if you just take the pressure off and not make it so overwhelming, and maybe you make a short-term goal where you're just going to go for a walk 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week. So I would like to say to start slow, because, I think when we try to do too much too soon, we do get overwhelmed and then we end up doing nothing. But it is truly getting clear on what you want to achieve and setting that intention, writing it down, and making an appointment with yourself. Just like you make appointments with anything else. I've got my chiropractic appointment on such and such day. Well, on Sunday, I am going to put in my book, I am going to work out for 20 minutes at this time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you're setting yourself up for success that way. And, and then you revisit those goals. And then as you build your foundation and get stronger, you can add on. But, it's just being realistic with yourself. And then once you start getting the benefits, I truly believe that it becomes part of a lifestyle because you want to do it. You're not fighting it quite so badly because you're feeling better, and it's, if we're reprogramming our brains to looking at the benefit, instead of, and doing something that you like as well, I think is very beneficial as well.
Love that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And what Debbie described, eventually your body starts craving it and it becomes part of your routine. Initially, though, I have 2 kids under 5. I'm super busy. And I talked to Debbie about a couple of weeks ago and I told her, hey, I've been super busy. I haven't had time to work out recently. And she said, start small. And so I put reminders on my calendar. I made the effort to wake up maybe half an hour earlier and get that half an hour. And now I'm starting to get back into the groove and build from here. So I think sometimes you just have to put it on your calendar, set your mind to do it and just do it. And then eventually it will become part of your daily activity. And it becomes like this thing that you look forward to every day.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I also want to add, you know, if you even just put your tennis shoes by your alarm clock or right by the bed, and it's a constant reminder. But I also like to multitask, you know, like if you're sitting at the computer all day long and look at, you know, you're maybe sitting like this and you're working, and, you know, if you just set your alarm, a little, you know, reminder every 30 minutes, let's do our postural exercises, you know, let's just do some shoulder rolls, let's do a stretch to open up, you know, because it's so important. Or even as I'm sitting here, I could be doing, you know, some exercises, you know, just to kind of remind myself to have that body awareness, you know. And you could also stand up and you could do just a ton of exercises just standing here by the chair. You know, you could be doing your leg extensions, you could be doing your hamstring curls, you could have your resistance bands and doing some biceps, you know, just as a reminder, if you're sitting all day, to have those bands and weights handy. And maybe you give yourself a little mini break, you know, every hour if you are working on a computer all day long. I really recommend that.
I love that. Okay, so let's review some of that, because I think this is so critical, especially now as so many people have sort of switched to Zoom and working from home. Yeah, I think it gives us a great excuse, right? Not only are we sitting a lot more, but we can also just turn our camera off sometimes and totally do whatever we want, right? So we can exercise. Nobody knows what we're doing, you know. And I love those ideas. So let's review. What I heard you say was start small. You both said that. I love writing it down and making sure that you keep it simple. Yeah, there's your weights. I love it. Being specific about what your goals are. You both said set an alarm or set a reminder, make an appointment. You said keeping things like those weights right next to your computer there is awesome. Putting your shoes next to the bed, tying it to something that you're already doing is so great. And then just slowly add things in. And I can certainly attest that once you start to do it, it just becomes something you don't want to live without, because your body, like you both said, it just craves it and you love it. So
Exactly.
appreciate that. It's both so good. Okay, so what are, you've already talked about some of these. Can you think of any other positive benefits of exercise that either of you have seen in yourself and in the people that you're teaching and that you're working with? Have you had people reaching out and saying, hey, this has helped me in these specific ways?
Oh my gosh, so many benefits. I don't even know where to start. I mean, first of all, we get the most amazing testimonials really on a daily basis. For me personally, the biggest difference I see is I had a severe low back limitation. I was constantly throwing my back out, and it literally almost cost me my fitness, you know, career. We were about to shoot my Slim Series Express workouts with Beachbody, and you know, I was doing, you know, I was working with test groups and things, and my back went out, and I am unable to walk. I mean, I'm literally like this crooked, and it's so painful. And I started working with the neurophysiologist who had me start doing these drills, these mobility drills to strengthen my low back. And once I started feeling, oh my gosh, you know, I've really improved the situation, I realized that everybody needed those kind of mobility drills, strength and endurance drills. And it's kind of how some of my routines were born out of my own limitation. And I realized, especially as I got older, you know, it's so important to educate people how to properly prepare their bodies for exercise. But the benefits really are reduced risk of injuries, reduced risk of taking terrible falls, increased energy, increased muscular strength and endurance. They're able to perform their daily activities so much better with more confidence. And they don't have the same stress. You know, it's a stress reducer. They're sleeping better. You know, it just spills over into every aspect of their lives. When somebody is consistently exercising and taking care of themselves and practicing that self-care, well, obviously they're going to be more, you know, productive and a little happier, and, you know, maybe a little better to be around, because especially during these stressful times, it is even more important to practice that self-care. So, I mean, those are just a few benefits. And then for me personally, just staying lean has been crucial as I've gotten older. I've been able to maintain, you know, my ideal weight, and just kind of avoid all that stiffness and soreness when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah, love that. That's such a common concern. Pretty much everything that you said is what so many people are worried about and concerned about and seeing in themselves. And so I love the proactive approach to that. Fadi, any other thoughts there?
I mean, no, I mean, everything Debbie said was perfect. I mean, even like your overall life becomes better when you work out. Even like the simple things or the important things, like your blood test results are better because you're cognitively eating better, you're working out, you're in a better mental place, you're sleeping better. Sleep is very important. And so just it's an overall around benefit that makes your life better, and you end up being happier, more relaxed, all of that. So 100% concur with Debbie, but the benefits are like all around, basically.
Yeah, I think we could talk about that question for all, you know, for all day. There's so many benefits there, and love your personal experiences that you shared there. You've mentioned some of the adjustments that you had to make, Debbie, as you have aged, which, let me just say, you don't look anywhere near 60. So obviously people are interested in what you're doing so they can copy that. How do you recommend that people start to adjust then their exercises? So let's say they're out doing real high intensity training, or you know, taking a lot of pounding to their joints. What type of adjustments need to be made then as people are aging?
Oh, this is what I'm really passionate about, because I just, you know, cringe when I see people with joint issues still trying to do the high intensity workouts, because they just can't accept, you know, that we have to take extra care. And, you know, I have to say, I was kind of fighting it a little bit there for a minute, but I honestly am able to still maintain my strength, my endurance, by doing these low impact, joint friendly workouts. So the number one thing is we have to prepare our bodies properly for exercise. You know, gone are the days where we can just go in the gym and start pumping the weight without warming up. You know, it's one of the mistakes I made when I was younger. It's one of those things that if I knew then what I know now, please learn from my mistakes. It's worth that extra 10 to 15 minutes to do the proper drills, to warm up your knees, your hips, your back, your core, your shoulders. And then another key ingredient is to do the thorough stretching and restorative work. We cannot ignore that anymore. I mean, if you don't want to wake up so tight and stiff, and if you really want to prevent injury, you know, flexibility is one of those things that really declines as we age, and as well as balance and stability. So I really take that extra time to stretch, and I make it very I just make an experience of it, really. I just put on some meditation music and I just utilize it as my almost a meditation time. And I just focus on my breath. So, and then it's like no more pounding on the joints. We have to do, if we want to do cardio, I don't recommend running and I don't recommend any high intensity workouts. You can get your heart rate up. You can burn calories. You can get a sufficient workout. I do every day without killing yourself. I mean, for instance, if I'm doing a power walk in the park, just to increase the intensity, well, I grab my hand towel and I'm just doing, you know, upper body movements to get my heart rate up even more while I'm walking. And you could just even box while you walk. I mean, people think I'm crazy in the park, but I don't really care because, you know, if I'm out there, I want to get the most of it. And then as far as the strength training, this is another thing I've really had to alter as I've gotten older, because there's certain exercises you have to avoid, you know, like one thing is the overhead press. You know, it's just too stressful. So I just do the front raise for the anterior deltoid. You know, I keep everything very basic, but it's effective. Like for the bicep curls, let's just do a hammer curl. So you're less likely to bring the wrist into action, because a lot of people, when they work their biceps, they want to do this. So if you do the palms facing each other and you stabilize those elbows, you're just going to focus on the biceps. We're not doing any crazy, tricky exercises. We're doing the basic, but they're very effective. So my strength training has changed completely. And then I've added in balance and agility and mobility drills. And my core workout has changed significantly. So when I'm doing my core, especially on the floor, I'm doing exercises that aren't going to stress my neck or my back, because that is one of my limitations here, you know? And so everything is just, I like to say it's almost no nonsense, but you're going to get the benefits without beating up your body.
I love that. There are so many gems you just shared with us of how to avoid joint injuries and problems while still getting the major benefit. And I feel like that's one of the big takeaways that I got from your body dynamics program as I tried it out was, you know, I exercise every day, and yet I got a great workout from body dynamics. And so I think it's available to a broad audience, but it makes it, I think, much more accessible for people who are worried about or already have some type of joint problem, arthritis, osteoporosis, something where they're worried. And if I trip, I break a hip, you know, it totally changes life and lifestyle. And so if you can incorporate these things now and do it in a safe way, which I love how you've been able to do that so successfully, and given these little tips along the way to say, hey, turn your wrists in instead, or avoid the extra stress on the neck. I think those are so key. In our last minute, just tell us, if you would, one or both of you, tell us a little bit more about the body dynamics system and how people can access that.
Yeah, I will just talk about the body dynamics program. Fadi can say how to access it. You know, each program has 7 routines, and I really wanted to cover all the bases, you know, so I have several different low impact cardio routines, but they're only 20 minutes long. So you can mix and match them. If you have more time one day, if you have less time, you just do one. I have my body insurance routine, which I'm very passionate about. It's exactly named for why it's body insurance. We're insuring our body to prevent injury. So it's drills to warm up those knees, to warm up those hips, the low back, etc. I have those no nonsense strengthening workouts like my upper body blast. That's a thorough upper body workout with weights. I have an anti-aging workout that targets the large muscle groups. I have a core on the floor that I talked about that doesn't stress the neck. I have a mat routine for bone health. I have a balance and agility routine. I have standing stretches for people who don't like to get up and down off the floor. So I really have thought a lot about, all the different areas that we talked about in the beginning, and I offer a solution.
Yeah, thanks, Debbie. And I just gotta say, I've been a heavy user of the workouts as well, and it just made such an improvement to my life. Being the guy who used to do flying push-ups or jump training and having all these injuries to now doing body dynamics and body dynamics 2 and just feeling better and like living even more comfortably. Regarding access, yeah, Debbie described the workouts perfectly. I mean, they're available on our website, so livati, livati.com. And we offer 2 options. Basically, you can get the DVDs, and some people still like to use the DVDs, and it's just easily accessible. It's in your living room. You do the workouts at the comfort of your home. But we also have a partner, and we provide it through an app. And you can do it on your Apple TV, you can do it on Roku, you can do it on your computer, on your iPhone. And so if you want to go outdoors and do your workout in the backyard or in a park, you have that availability as well. So it's basically offered in these 2 forms.
Oh, that's perfect. I love that. So if people are traveling, they can take it with them wherever they go.
Exactly.
Great. So great. Okay, thank you so much. We will definitely make sure people know how to access that. We appreciate your time, Fadi and Debbie. So much great information. We look forward to continuing to work together. Have a great day.
Thank you
So much. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.